Welcome back. I'm Rambo. Let's get into this. Let me start with something that most people will never expect. There are some people that don't get uncomfortable when you struggle, they become uncomfortable once you start to grow. And what follows isn't always yelling, insults, or chaos. Sometimes it looks quiet, confusing, and subtle. Today, we're going to talk about three hidden patterns that show up the moment that you start respecting yourself. Your growth changes the roles in relationships. When you doubted yourself, you were predictable. When you needed reassurance, you were familiar. And when you stayed small, the system stayed stable. But growth introduces imbalance. And the people that relied on that old version of you, your evolution, it feels like a loss. So they say things like, you're not the same anymore. You've changed. Things are not like they used to be. But listen carefully. They don't miss you. They miss access to the version of you that didn't push back. If your growth threatens a relationship, that relationship was not built on love, it was built on limitation. Growth doesn't destroy healthy connections, it exposes the unhealthy ones. Here in part two is where it gets tricky because the loop isn't the argument. Because once growth starts, that's where conversations change, or at least they should. But then you notice something strange. Same topics, same tension, same endings. You explain yourself better each time. You choose your words carefully. You stay calm, and nothing's resolved. Resolution is not the goal. Repetition is the strategy. Loops create exhaustion, and that exhaustion creates compliance. When you're tired, you stop questioning. And when you're tired, you accept half answers. And when you're tired, you just want it to end. Healthy communications move you forward, control keeps you in a circle. And then they say you're shutting down, you're not communicating, and you're being distant. But clarity looks like distance to people who benefit from confusion. Here in part three is another pattern that hurts more than people are willing to admit. Respect only after damage. You didn't stay silent. You explained, you warned, and you asked for clarity. And nothing changed until you pulled back, until access was removed, until consequences appeared. Suddenly, apologies show up, the awareness kicks in, respect appears. But here is the rewire: the respect that arrives after the damage isn't respect, it's loss management. They didn't suddenly understand, they finally felt the cost. And true respect is proactive. It doesn't need pain to activate. If your growth causes tensions, if conversations are just loops, and boundaries were only respected after harm, you weren't being difficult, you were evolving. And not everyone can come with you. So I'm just a guy standing in front of a viewer asking you to have an open mind, an open heart, and open energy. Because with those three combined, we are human. Boom.